Hey, what's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to be working on my own version of the Red Hood. I posted this picture up on my Instagram and everybody's wondering, hey, what version Red Hood is this? I've never seen one like that. Well, this is my version. I'm not gonna actually show you guys how to make this helmet because I've already done a video like this, and it's actually the Deathstroke helmet. And the template is already on my Facebook. And if you don't feel like making one and you want to just buy one off of me, well, the link to my eBay store is in the description below. In this video, I'm just going to focus on the painting technique because there are some people out there that's wondering how I'm painting it. So yeah, I'm going to show you guys how I did the carbon fiber and the weathering and airbrushing and shading and all that cool stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. So this is what your helmet should look like, whether you bought one from me or went to my Facebook, got the templates, and made one yourself. Here's another one that I made with a brown back piece. I'm gonna paint it black. I'm gonna start off by trimming off the chin because it was a little too long. And here are some laser cut accents that I made for a Batman Beyond project, which is like half batarangs, and then I just had a bunch of extra pieces like circles, and figure I put it on there so it would look kind of cool, you know, add a little bit of details that probably doesn't really matter. And I'm not really sure what these two things on the back of his head is. I just put it on there because whatever. Now I always seal my foam with Mod Podge because Mod Podge is cheap. You can find it just about any craft store. Walmart has it. It doesn't put out a nasty smell, so you can actually do it inside the house and not bother anybody. And if you don't seal it, the foam's gonna act like a sponge and it'll just keep absorbing your paint. I usually do 2 or 3 coats. Prefer to use cheap acrylic paint. Water it down with some Windex and some water. I don't have a recipe for this because all paints are usually different. I just mix it up until I get a nice runny consistency, just thin enough for it to shoot through the airbrush. So I'll add water as I go. If it's not thin enough, then I'll add more Windex, and I just kind of do it until it'll feed through the airbrush. And you don't want it too thin because then you'll get a bunch of runs. The benefits of having brown back piece is that I can ensure that I have complete coverage of black paint. I always clean my airbrush with Windex between every coat. This prevents it from clogging up. Sometimes I prefer to use a paintbrush. This makes it easier because I don't have to set up the airbrush or clean it, really get in there without worrying about overspray. I'm going to use a gray base coat on the faceplate because this is easier to paint red on gray than it is to paint red on top of black. I'm going to use this cabinet lining. This will give me my carbon fiber effect. I'll trim the areas that need to be trimmed, and then I'll pin down the area that needs to pin down with thumbtacks, and then I'll also use adhesive too to hold it in some areas. I'm going to use silver acrylic paint with my airbrush and slightly mist over cabinet liner, and then we'll use a hair dryer to accelerate the drying process. And once everything is dry, you want to carefully remove your thumbtacks and peel out your cabinet liner, and then you're gonna unveil this really cool carbon fiber effect. From this point on, there's no turning back unless you want to go back and redo everything over again. Yeah, notice the little bit of flaws on there, but overall I am totally satisfied with it. Now it's time to go back and paint the faceplate. I'm going to use glossy red acrylic paint, and I'm just going to brush it on the first coat. Then I'm going to use a hair dryer to accelerate the drying process. Now that the first coat is dry, I'm going to add another coat, but this time I want it thinned down. I'm going to use the same acrylic paint, and I'm going to apply some Windex. Then I'm going to mix it with my brush. This is going to make it thinner and a little bit more runnier. This will reduce the amount of brush strokes that you'll get in your final product. Take a fine paintbrush and work on the eyelashes, kind of like putting mascara on your Red Hood mask. This is what it looks like before I start the weathering. Using my airbrush to lightly shade some black in some areas that I wanted to stand out. You want to be careful that you don't use too much black because you don't want to overdo it and cover the red completely. Now I'm experimenting with some burn marks. This will give it this cool effect that this guy's been through battle and war. Now that it's dry, I'm going to dry brush some chrome metallic paint on top of it. I'm going to use this rattle can spray paint, spray it onto a rag, and then just dry brush it onto certain areas. This is the look that I'm going for. It looked like this helmet deflected a missile. I'm gonna dry brush the edges some more, but not with so much paint. You want to go slightly on the edges. Notice in some areas I kind of went too much on the weathering, but I can always go back with some more red paint to cover certain areas. Dry brush more chrome on some of the accents. This will make it look like metal on top of carbon fiber. Let's not forget the guys in the back, because these guys deserve loving too. I mean, abuse too. So far so groovy, and I'm digging what I'm cooking. I'm going to use this chrome face mask. I'm going to cut a little bit of piece of it and stick it on the eyes. Hot glue it in place. Now I'm going to go back over with a fine paintbrush and add a little more details to some of the weathering, and then smear it around with my thumbs. The more I look at it, the more I mess with it, and sometimes you kind of go overboard, so I'm going to stop looking at it. I keep adding more stuff to it, and it's looking really cool already, so stop with the weathering, please. And there you have it. This is my own rendition of the Red Hood mask. Alright y'all, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, the links for the templates and my eBay is in the description below if you want to go snag you one of these helmets. This Red Hood is going to be a lot of my own design, and hopefully it's going to be awesome. Today's shout out goes to Poor Indie Film. He's got a DIY channel that does indie film stuff. So if you're into cosplaying, maybe, you know, you want to make short films with your costume, because that'd be kind of cool. I also want to give a shout out to Pete Galicia. He's in the Philippines. He asked for a shout out, so I figured I'd give him a shout out. A lot of you guys wonder if I'm Filipino. I'm not. But my wife is Filipino. She's Filipina, I guess. That's how you say it. I also want to give a shout out to Sebastian Bravo Abando. He asked for a shout out. He's been working on his own Red Hood mask too, so figured I'd give him a shout out on that one too. And if you like this video, give it a like, share with somebody who might care, and like me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already subscribed, because that would be cool. You get updates. I have a lot of other cool builds coming up, and I am trying to put them out as fast as possible while working by myself. Anyways, I'll see you guys later.